What's up, folks? Back with some more soundtrack music, back with another reaction to Score, technically. We're going to listen to another tune from a J-drama show. This is a show called Future Diary, Another World. It's based on a manga of the same name. There's another live-action show, I think it's from a few years later, maybe like 2015, 2016, meaning this is the manga has been made into multiple different live-action shows. But this is the one I happened to see. I'm a fan of both of these performers. The actress is Ayame Goriki, or Goriki Ayame, to say it in the Japanese way. And then there's Masaki Okada is the actor, who is also in a number of shows that I'm a huge fan of. So we'll talk more about him. But yeah, this is, I think, the first thing I saw both of them in. It's from a decade ago, like I said, 2012. As quickly as possible. It's a story that combines like sci-fi and romance. It's like the target audience, I would say, is like late teens to like mid-20s. Like it has kind of like a melodramatic sort of feel with the, especially with the romance. But it's a really interesting story, and it's ultimately a story where like you are as clueless as the main character for most of the show, meaning like the narrative plays its cards close to the vest. You don't really get a sense of like the full scope of what's happening until the very end, which is interesting. Stories can work two ways, right? Like, it's an interesting thing when the audience or the reader, if it's a book, knows more than any particular character, so they can sort of see collisions, like narrative collisions coming, or like dangers and possibilities that any one character doesn't have the wherewithal to see. So they have this kind of like omniscient, like overhead view. And that can be really interesting. I sort of like writing in that way because, you know, I like it when my audience or my reader is smart or like privy to aspects of the story. Obviously, you can still withhold crucial pieces of information, which then, once they're dropped, even if they did have a pretty full view of the story, you know, one missing detail can make a big difference. But the other side of it is really not letting your, you know, letting your reader feel, or your viewer feel as like, you know, confused as the main character in a confusing sci-fi story. And so that's how this story goes. But bottom line, he keeps getting text on his phone about things that are going to happen, you know, minutes later, an hour later, sometime in the future, and they keep happening. They keep turning true. And then it becomes clear that, like, you know, in the days before this started happening, like his like actual phone excuse me, had been swapped out with a phone by like some like security company, and like he finds out that other people have their phones swapped too, and they keep like, you know, they eventually start getting messages that like, you kill so-and-so in the library, and it's like, wait, what? Like, I'm not gonna do that, what are you talking about? But then the circumstances accrue such that they feel like, you know, a family member's in danger, so I guess I have to do this, and so on. So it keeps like intensifying. And all the while there's this implied love story, which then like halfway through the story, you know, like 6 episodes in, it starts with like this 20-minute flashback to like, you know, the two people that we've been watching, who seemingly like don't, or like the main guy is like, I don't know who this girl is, she's kind of crazy, she keeps talking to me like she knows me. And like, you're with him, you're like, you know, it seems like she's behaving really weird, and she doesn't, you know, it seems like she doesn't actually know him. And then suddenly you get this flashback, like years before, or at least like, you know, at least months before the story starts, and they do know each other, and they're dating, and it's like, wait, what? So yeah, I won't spoil it, but bottom line, it's a like interesting sci-fi sort of romance show. And in the show, there's a lot of moments where what seems like an AI, it's the AI, in fact, I say seems like an AI, it is an AI. And the AI like speaks to them through messages, and it becomes clear that eventually like the AI is who set up this thing with the phones and so on. So as you're going through, there are moments where the AI will like use like a message to speak to the protagonist, and the first couple times it does so, this is the tune that plays. So it's a tune that like, you're like realizing just how crazy the story is, but you're also finally getting a little bit of information about what the hell is happening. So it's this, you know, kind of pivotal moment the first time you hear this tune. So let's get to it. And then, by the way, the director of music, the person who did the music in the show, is Fukuhiro Shuichiro. And like I said, this is from 2012, and the tune is called Advection. Like a melody that's like stuck in the past, even though it's a show about the future. It sounds like a cryogenically frozen melody. Dissonant, tension-filled ambient segment. Along with some like AI interference. Desperation to it. Post-apocalyptic desolation. Metal blade, like dissonant layer. Transmission, you know, distorted and lost in the end. I love that. I forgot about that vocal layer that comes in at the very end. That's fantastic. And it's funny that I forget that, because like when you finally, you know, you see the AI in like a number of contexts, you know, it's like it's like a program essentially, but you eventually see like her represented like in the sort of, it's essentially like the Matrix. That's a gross oversimplification. It's actually very different from the Matrix, but it's the same thing where like the main character is in what he thinks is the real world for part of the story, but it's actually like a digital recreation of the world, and like he meets this AI in that sort of mental world, if you will, and like that part of the score, that part of the incidental tune, with the vocal, it plays like right when she's standing there like talking to him. So I'm surprised I forgot it, but again, it's a great tune. I really enjoyed that. Again, the show is like, you know, if you're like at older, you're used to like gritty like neo-noir drama, it might not be your favorite, though again, I watch a lot of different J-drama, and I've seen and will talk about in future reactions some very gritty sort of shows. But yeah, this one, again, like especially in regard to the romance, it's a bit, you know, like, I'm not gonna say heavy-handed, but again, it's melodramatic. There's a lot of like back and forth. Can I trust the other person? Can I not? Like, are you part of this? Are you not? Like, you know, it sort of swings back and forth. There's a lot of like dramatic sort of moments. So yeah, but like, you know, some people like shows like that. Some people like shows with a lot of sort of like and like heartache along the way. But yeah, it's a cool show, and the music, it really is fantastic. So let me know what you think. Other than that, I will see you next time. Peace.